Friday at 10 a.m. In the meantime, check out the podcast section.
Fan Stream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Fan Stream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
First down, goal from the 10. Come on, Bucks. 3:27 to go. McNabb dropping. It's intercepted. And the 10 to the 20. Going coast to coast. Rondé Barber to the 50, to the 40. Barber to the 30. Nobody's going to touch him. Rondé Barber, 10-5. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. A 95-yard interception return. Bucks lead 26-10.
And with that, Rondé Barber ran himself into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Maybe that was the moment. It's certainly the one indelible image that most Buck fans will carry of Rondé Barber. It's certainly the one that he will put up as his shining moment. And this morning, Rondé Barber is a Hall of Famer. All 5'10", 185 pounds of him, who played 215 consecutive games in the most brutal collision sport ever known to man. And this guy not only was durable, but was productive for 16 years in the NFL. Nobody, and I mean nobody, put up the numbers with the versatility that Rondé Barber did. Nobody. And it's not even close. That's maybe why it took a little while for him to get into the Hall of Fame. But as Rondé will tell us at 10:30 this morning, it was worth the wait. It was worth the wait. Rondé Barber, freshly minted Hall of Famer, will join us this morning at 10:30 from Phoenix. I'm sure it was quite a night for him. It was quite a night at NFL Honors. I was doing my duties at Amalie Arena watching the Lightning beat the crap out of the Colorado Avalanche, the defending Stanley Cup champions, 5-0. Vasilevsky was tremendous, and we will certainly talk about that. We got a hell of a show for you today as we celebrate Rondé Barber's induction into the Hall of Fame. John Kincade, Philadelphia radio icon and friend of mine, former colleague up in Atlanta, will join us at 10:15, and we'll certainly, he's got great stories at Rondé shutting down the vet. Maybe he'll tell that one again. Rondé will join us at 10:30. Brian Bradley will join us at 11 o'clock, the Lightning's first All-Star and leading scorer in those first few years. Will join us at 11 o'clock. We'll talk some Lightning, and TJ Rives at 11:35, Buck sideline guy who covered Rondé's entire career as well, and he will regale us with some of his great stories. So we got a hell of a show for you today on the JP Peterson Show. We're so thankful that you are with us, and I'll say good morning to my co-host and cohort, Nick Geddes. How are you, my friend? You were barely born when he was running down that field.
Barely born, but I have good memories of Rondé Barber. The later career of Rondé Barber, but still a productive version of Rondé Barber's career.
Yeah,
because there really was no lulls in there, was there?
Mm-mm.
Not really. Even when he made the transition to safety, and I think his last season, 2012.
Yeah,
he did that well. He did that well also at like 37 years of age.
Yeah. There was nothing he could not do on a football field, and that's, to me, has always been the brilliance of Rondé Barber's career that was not fully, I think, realized or celebrated in that Hall of Fame room. Look, it's tough to get in. It's not easy. And there'll be people out there that didn't watch him play for many of his years of his career. And they'll probably go Rondé Barber, but when they look at the numbers, it's irrefutable. It's absolutely irrefutable that this guy is a Hall of Famer. You put his numbers up against any defensive back in the Hall of Fame, and they surpass them in most instances, and certainly live up to them. And his lack of maybe Q rating from a national perspective was simply because of the small market that he played in. And I wouldn't even want to say the majority of the years they were losing, because, he was part of the, 97 to, you go through the Super Bowl, then a couple of lulls, but they went back to the playoffs a couple of times. So there was a lot of good football in there, and he was an integral part of that.
And he outlasted every Tampa Bay Buccaneer icon that came through. He outlasted John Lynch. He outlasted Warren Sapp. I think he even outlasted Derek Brooks as well.
Yeah.
He was, what is he, the longest tenured Buck, I have to imagine?
Yep. You're longer than Gruber.
Yep. Yeah, and to me, that's so incredible. 215 straight games played.
That's insane.
Over the final 15
For
years.
For a 5'10", 185-pound guy that literally has 1,257 tackles, actually closer to 1,400, 1,500 tackles. I mean, think about that. That's so many collisions, and you never missed a game. Played with a torn MCL as a slot corner and outside corner. I mean, with a torn MCL for an entire season. Holy hell. I know, Brady did that, but do that as a guy in his position, what Rondé was doing.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I almost wore it today, but I know Rondé's not really fond of it, is the creamsicle jersey. It's one of my most prized possessions, is my Rondé Barber creamsicle jersey that I got I got it when I was a kid, the year they wore it in like 2009 or something.
Yeah.
I think he had a pick six in that game, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
I think he did. I almost wore it this morning, but I know he doesn't really like that creamsicle, so I didn't wear it today.
He's smart.
I wish I would have, because you copied me today and wore the Cape Canaveral blue. So
it's just so gratifying for anyone who has been a part of Rondé's career, and I count him as a very close friend of mine. We did a show for many years, for those who don't know, at News Channel 8. And have remained close for a long time. And he's just such an impressive human being. And the fact that he did not play his first year, I was thinking about this last night. I bet if you went back and looked at all the different Hall of Famers, and I don't think there's anybody who just kind of missed his first year. And Herm Edwards tells the story. He said it's just, he wasn't ready to play in the NFL. And Rondé quickly realized that and transformed himself into not only a physical specimen through a lot of weight training, a lot of heavy weight training. He used to go, and work out with some of the biggest guys in the world, these real heavy lifter guys in the off season. He did so many unique things. Before TB12, Rondé was doing a lot of things that were unique that other people were not doing, and certainly studying more film than anybody else did. And we'll ask him at 10:30, what were those things that put you over the top, that made you so much better than everybody else? And I think it'll be a really, really fun interview. I'm looking forward to that at 10:30. Let's go ahead and play from last night's honors. This was the moment. And boy, how gratifying for Rondé to have someone of Derek Brooks' stature sit up there and introduce him as being elected to the Hall of Fame.
Whether he was lined up inside or out, blitzing the quarterback or playing the pass, he was always a problem. And once again, my friend, you are now my teammate. Welcome to Canton, Rondé Barber.
Wow, that's such a cool moment. Wow, I get choked up, man. Derek, I've known Derek since he was playing high school football and covered his career at Florida State, and watched him emerge as not only an incredible Hall of Fame player, but a Hall of Fame person. And then I got to see Rondé do the same thing up close and personal. It's amazing. These are two of the best human beings on the freaking planet, and see them together like that is really cool.
And who would have known? And you were around before I was during that time, obviously. But who would have ever known that the Yucks, when they were still wearing the cream, when they were wearing those like red pants, I believe, right, which was like the worst variation of the creamsicles, right? Who would have known that in a 4-year span they would draft 4 Hall of Famers,
right,
and hire one head coach also who got into the Hall of Fame, with half of his resume coming in Tampa Bay and Tony Dungy.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5 Hall of Famers that came through this area all at the same time.
How about that?
I mean, that doesn't happen often, folks.
No,
it does not happen often.
No, and there was another Hall of Buccaneer that went in last night too.
Yeah, there was
for a year.
There was.
He was here as well. But it's amazing. I thought Rondé played with Darrell, but he did not.
No, he retired the year right before Darrell.
Yeah. So yeah, so cool to see those two together. And then there was a video of the other Hall of Famers from that defense. and Tony Dungy as well. So let's play that as well.
Congratulations, buddy. It's about time. And I say that from the bottom of my heart.
Hey, Rondé, congratulations. We're going to have an awesome party in Canton, and this is so well deserved. The Bucs table is getting bigger, and you're a big part of it.
Congratulations, man, once again on this esteemed honor as being the newest Buccaneer in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Man, I can't wait to celebrate with you in August. Job well done, man. And I'm proud to sit here and say, man, that you were a teammate of mine.
Welcome to the club, Rondé Barber. The golf game at the Hall of Fame is about to get very interesting. Welcome to the club, baby.
We get to be teammates again on the greatest team in football, the Hall of Fame, buddy. Welcome to the club. So proud and happy for you.
Hey, enjoy the moment. God bless you. And again, congratulations, 20. You deserve it, my friend.
Sap called him Randy, right?
Called him Randy, yeah.
Yeah, because he used to do that. That was his endearing way. It's disrespectful, endearing way of saying you're in the club. You know, if you're not getting crap from Sap, then you know you're not part of the club. What a moment! What an absolute moment! And to have been there alongside and chronicling his career as I was able to do is one of the greatest highlights of my career. And I will certainly be there in August to welcome him into the Hall of Fame and be up there for that Buccaneer celebration. And I know a lot of Buccaneer fans will be going along with me. So get your flights now, because it's going to be a lot of creamsicle. It's going to be a lot of pewter and red, and it's going to be fun. We played the shut down the vet highlight, and we're going to ask John Kincade from Philly about that here in just a minute, because he's certainly a vivid moment for him. But, you know, I think back on what Rondé was able to do. And to me, it's that story of someone who is, you know, absolutely at the depths of your profession. Imagine just, you know, being selected in the third round, you know, a lot of high hopes for you. Tony Dungy, you know, believing in you, Herm Edwards believing in you, and you come to professional football. And for the first time in your life, you're not exceptional. You're not exceptional, because it was at every point of his life, everything he ever did, he and Tiki together, they were the best. They were the best at everything. And then he comes here and it's like, I can't hack this. And what the hell am I going to do? And instead of, you know, turtling or quitting or getting mad or, you know, scrubbing his social media, they didn't have it at the time. He went to work. He went to work, and he became a great pro and willed himself into being a Hall of Famer. And, you know, it's a lot easier to do that when you're 6'6", 285 pounds. And you're a dominant physical specimen, and you just decide one day, you know, I'm going to be a great football player. When you're 5'10", 185 pounds, it takes a little bit more heart. It takes a little bit more toughness. It takes a little bit more intelligence. It takes a little bit more fortitude. It takes everything, every value that we hold dear, and bring it all together with an absolutely consistently incredible work ethic that you're relentlessly going after it every single day. And, you know, Rondé used to tell me all the time, he said, you wake up every day, you're either going to get worse or you're going to get better. What's it going to be today? You decide. And that's it, you know, and I remembered that all my life. You have a decision. You can either lay down and be a wuss bag, or you can get up and be better and have a plan to be better. And even at this point of his life, where he's not, you know, he doesn't have a scoreboard or stats to keep, he does the same thing. Yeah. Every day.
Yeah, and to the note that we talked about earlier this week, not even likely the most famous member of his own family in football.
It's true.
We're talking about a Hall of Fame player here.
It's true.
And not even more people would probably tell you they know the name TJ Barber than Rondé Barber.
Yeah. Because of his playing with the Giants and
he played the running back position.
Yeah.
Like, and Tiki to me was just like that, like, name you gravitated to, right?
Yeah.
So Tiki to me was the more famous Barber.
Yeah.
But this is the Hall of Fame Barber.
And their sibling rivalry is amazing. Is incredible. So, you know, he will definitely.
Yeah. And
he'll definitely needle his brother on this one for sure.
And even beyond what he did on the field, I always loved the guys who came here to Tampa Bay when it was nothing, and here it is now, and they've stayed this entire way.
Yeah.
He's still in the community. You might see him walking around from time to time.
Yeah.
The whole thing he does with the Valspar Championship is fantastic, and he's still doing it over there right now. He's recruiting, if I'm not mistaken,
he's
right?
Recruiting players
to make that tournament to make that tournament the best it can be. So just all around, from a football standpoint and off the field standpoint, great ambassador for the Bucs and a great ambassador for Tampa Bay.
All right, if you guys want to jump into the comment section, you can do that on Facebook and on YouTube, also at FanstreamJP on Twitter. We'll get your comments up. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, John Kincaid's going to join us. A Philly radio icon is out there at Super Bowl on Radio Row. This is a dream come true for all these Philly fans, and we'll talk about the game. We'll talk about Rondé shut down the bet. Well, it's always fun to visit with Johnny Kincade, one of the best in the business. So stay with us. Quick break. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Loan program. Get this. No money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashland Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, and Italiano Insurance. All right, let's head out to the Super Bowl Radio Row, where Philadelphia and Atlanta radio icon John Kincade from 97.5 The Fan, he does the mornings out there, just got off the air, and he joins us now live. What's up, Johnny? How are you, man?
It is 56 hours and a half till the Super Bowl. I'm about, this game is talked out to me.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to a little bit of a chill out time. How are you doing?
Fantastic, man. Absolutely fantastic. As you know, my good friend Rondé Barber got into the Hall of Fame
Sure.
last night. The man who brought so many nightmares to your Philly fans. And you told us
a knife through the heart. A knife through the heart is how I would describe it. Because I got to tell you, JP, that was the game that ruined me as a sports fan forever. In that I never go into a game saying there is no way my team can lose, because on that day I said that the entire week leading up. I said that, I believed that, and I was incorrect.
Yeah. People forget that I don't remember what the point spread was, but the Bucs had lost 2 years in a row in Philly, and it wasn't close. And
it was only 4.5. It was only 4.5 on game day.
Wow.
I can remember the nightmare of it. But because the teams were really good, that Bucs team was really good, but they had lost every time they came up into the cold.
Yep.
They lost. It was a frigid day, and a minute into the game, it's 7-0 Eagles.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, this is going to be ridiculous. This is going to be a blowout. And then you had other plans with Joe freaking Juravicius. I mean, my God, Levon Kirkland covering Joe Juravicius will be on my deathbed. I think I'll be muttering that.
He's still running
Joe
down the
freaking
sidelines.
Juravicius.
Yeah.
And Rondé Barber, too. I mean, congratulations on Rondé on a spectacular career. Got to work with his brother at CBS Sports Radio, a fantastic family. But I got to tell you, it's not going to make me happy when they're showing his induction. It's not going to make me happy. I know I'm going to see it.
We started our show with it, of course. We had to do that.
Of course, yes.
Well,
he had to be on first because he is the Hall of Famer winner.
Well,
so there it goes.
He's coming on after you. We started with just we played the play-by-play to start our show of the runback. So I didn't want to do that to you. I was like, should we
don't
bump
do it
back?
to me. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to think about it. Let's put it that way.
Well, I know what you want to think about is this Eagles team. And I know you're talked out, but I got to get first of all, your perspective on what the hell's going on in the city of brotherly love. How jacked up are they for this game on Sunday?
Well, JP, how about this one for you? Coming home and getting to do my show now in Philadelphia. And, after all the years in Atlanta, I said to them, look, you get me a flight home Friday afternoon because I don't want to be here for the game. I want to be in Philadelphia for the game. Yeah. I want to do pregame in Philadelphia. I want to be there after the game when the Eagles win the Super Bowl. I want to be there for it. So I'm flying back this afternoon. I've been here all week, been here for the festivities and everything, but I want to be amongst the fans because I want to be in my hometown when they win the Super Bowl. And I say when. You notice I'm saying when.
Yes, I do.
When they win the Super Bowl.
Well, I got the Eagles. I think I'm smart enough to look back in history, and when you have great defenses, especially those that put pressure on the quarterback, much like Rondé Barber's 2002 defense that have 5 picks in the Super Bowl and dominated the number 1 offense in Rich Gannon and the Raiders. This is what happens. Better defenses, great defenses, stifle great offenses, and you got a quarterback who's not 100%. I just like the Eagles in this one, and that's the main reason why. What about you?
Well, I think the big thing is that the balance that the Eagles have shown is tremendous.
Yeah.
The fact that, 1 week, the first time in NFL history, 1 week they pass for 350 plus, the next week they run for 350 plus.
Wow.
They can kill you anyway. They have blood-sucking drives in the second half, and it's one of the things that I love about them, is that they bleed teams out because I think they have in every victory this year, they have a 6.5 minute plus drive in the second half.
Wow.
That's a killer.
Yeah.
That's a backbreaker because I think it just tells everybody you're not going to get all the possessions that you might need to be able to beat them.
They're demoralizing. And when I watch Jalen Hurts, and I said this before the season, I said people are doubting this guy. Look, he's not the prototypical quarterback that we've seen for years, but he's part of what is coming in the NFL. And he is a tremendous leader. He's a great runner. He is, I can't say enough about him. You've seen him even more than me. What makes him so good?
Well, I can tell you this is the one thing he did from the minute that he arrived was get buy-in from the veterans. And JP, what cool story is too, is on his property, Lane Johnson has a barn. There was a little barn on the property when he bought it. He had it renovated and he had it turned into a workout facility. And then he will paint a mural of you on the wall if you come in the off season and work out with him a certain amount of times. And Jalen Hurts, I will only say, Wentz wasn't there. Nicky Foles, even his day, wasn't there. Jalen Hurts started year 1 when he wasn't even a starter, lifting with the offensive linemen in the off season, and he is on the wall of Lane Johnson's barn. And when you're lifting with the offensive linemen, and you're one of those guys,
Yep.
and you don't create that separation, you're not Russell Wilson, I think it goes a long way. I think it really does.
I totally agree with you. And that's the thing about the Eagles. It's not just him. It is a pure team. But that run game, talk a little bit about the run game and the offensive line. And that whole RPO that he does, it's devastating as good as he does it.
Well, last year, though, what's cool about it, JP, is that last year they needed the RPO to run the offense. This year, when you add A.J. Brown, which really, really helped, and then you saw the growth this year, Miles Sanders had his best year.
Yeah.
This offensive line are road graders anyway. But this year, they didn't need the RPO to fool people, and Jalen Hurts was the number one passer in the NFL from the pocket. And last year, before he went and saw Tom House in the offseason, he was subpar. He was below average as a pocket passer. He's done a great job, and I think it's really, really impressive what he's managed to accomplish.
And defensively, with the pass rush is historic, right? Not since the Steel Curtain have we seen a pass rush that has been this dominant. And even against the better offensive lines, they've been dominant, right?
I just don't know. With this offensive line, defensive line, they cause so much pressure. 4 guys with 10-plus sacks, 70 sacks as a team. They wear you down. And the big thing is in second halves, and I know you enjoy a little dabbling in the gambling. In the second halves, they wear down teams, and that's where the offensive line and the defensive fronts of the Eagles tend to pay off in victory. So if they can play an even type game with the Chiefs in the first half, I will have ultimate confidence that they will be able to lean on them and make it really difficult in the second half. The only thing I don't want to see the Eagles do, fall behind 2 scores. Even though they've got the offensive firepower to do it, Patrick Mahomes is such a pain in the backside, man.
Yeah.
He is such a creator. And Jalen Hurts is not the same creator. Jalen is a master facilitator. There's a difference. And I think and I have no gripe. Jalen is a great player, but Patrick Mahomes deserved the MVP in the year.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. And Johnny, last one for you. When I look at these two teams, I like the Eagles personnel. I like them in the game. The only thing that gives me hesitancy is you got to give the coaching and the quarterback check mark to the Chiefs. And that's usually what wins in big games, Super Bowls. How do you square that? That's a Nick Sirianni question, kind of in camouflage. How do you square that?
Well, what I would say to you is Andy Reid has a long history of losing big games.
That's true.
Nick Sirianni is he's been favored to win 2 playoff games. He's 2-0. Andy Reid struggled a lot of times in his career to win games that he was favored to win. And so, look, I love Andy, and in Philly, we love Andy.
Yeah.
He's absolutely awesome. But he already got his Super Bowls. You know what I say, JP?
Yeah.
Screw that. The love's over. I want to see Andy Reid. He owes us one for that Rondé Barber game.
Yeah.
For that Joe Juravicius game. So he owes us that Super Bowl because the Eagles would have stomped the Raiders just like the Bucs did.
Yep.
So my thing is repay the favor, Andy. Take your beating like a man on Sunday. I do believe the Eagles are going to win the game. They're going to be 10 points, and I think that they will roll to a Super Bowl title.
Johnny, you're awesome, my friend. Appreciate it. John Kincade, 97.5
Good, man.
In Philly.
I'll talk to you soon.
Have fun in Philly,
Everybody.
man. It's going to be quite a party. Stay safe. John Kincade live from Radio Row there. Yeah, that's a different perspective. And by the way, and I've always felt this about Super Bowls. I've covered a bunch of them. Yeah, send me home for the game. Just the whole day is, from security to everything else is just, it's a pain in the ass. And, I understand you go, you've done a few, you get the experience. You need to do that. It's a bucket list experience, but I'm with Johnny. Go home and enjoy it. For the people that didn't go to San Diego, but stayed home in Tampa Bay. And of course we had the second one right here in our own backyard, which is the greatest of all possibilities. That's the way to do it. No doubt.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, I keep hearing everybody talk about this Eagles defense. I know we'll get more into this preview later, but I'll just leave you with this. Do you know the last 3 quarterbacks the Eagles have faced in games going back to before January?
Before January?
Yeah, going back to, I think it's January 1st and on. So the 3 games they've played since then. Do you know the quarterbacks they've faced? Which is the height of everybody up talking about this defense.
Yeah, I know. It was Brock Purdy.
It's Davis Webb. Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
And then Brock Purdy, Josh Johnson / Christian McCaffrey, Wildcat.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time. Before that, they played Dak Prescott, and they gave up 40 points.
They did.
This is Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs right here.
Yeah. But you have to take their body of work.
I'm trying to take the body of work. I'm just saying, everybody, I hear
That's
this
true.
is what everybody's been talking about all this week is the Eagles defense and historic. I keep hearing the word historic.
Yeah.
Right. And I think everybody's talking about their front. Right. And I'll agree it's historic. But this is a historic quarterback.
Yeah.
As you just mentioned, and I know he's got a history, but he's starting to shed that a little bit. Andy Reid has a history of losing in big games, but he's a Super Bowl winning head coach. For my money, he's probably the best head coach in the league going right now. Travis Kelce, to me, is the second best player on that field.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback, tight end, and coach.
Mm-hmm.
The edge at key positions, and I include tight end as a weapon. I think those are the three key positions in this game, and the best offensive line in the league with the win rate.
Yeah.
So
it should be a good one. It should be one for the ages, but sometimes they don't live up to it. We shall see. All right, quick break. When we come back, the man, the Hall of Famer, Rondé Barber, will join us live from Phoenix. Stay with us. Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this always online at theGoldenDiamondSource.com.
JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, let's welcome in the man of the hour, newly inducted Hall of Famer, the great Rondé Barber, joining us live from Phoenix. What's up, my friend? How are you? A little hungover?
How you doing, Jake? No, not yet. I'll save that for tonight, man. Yesterday was a long day.
Indeed it was. I know you were out at Waste Management tournament recruiting players as well, but it was long time awaited. I knew, obviously, that you knew before you were going in, so it wasn't a surprise last night. But what was your emotional well-being last night especially the moment walking out on the stage to your good friend and teammate, Derek Brooks? What was that like?
Well, I've had some big moments in my career. This was kind of up there too. Not quite the same, but I was talking with some of the other guys backstage, and once you retire, that feeling of walking through a tunnel kind of goes away.
Yeah.
It kind of resurfaced a little bit last night when you take those first couple of steps through there. But yeah, great emotions, man. JP, I wish I could say it was all about me, but I know it's not. My family and friends are there. My daughter, it didn't show on air. My daughter got to sing during one of the breaks with Kelly Clarkson.
No way.
So I got my scene was stolen by Yamil last night. So it made for a fantastic day.
Shay is going to be so jealous. Oh my gosh. Well done. We need to get the two of them to sing together. That's incredible. And I know so much about this is teammates and family and the people that, and you'll have a great speech, I know, but give us a little preview of the folks you want to thank and that have helped you along the way.
Oh, well, obviously it doesn't start with anybody but Tiki and my mom. Single parent, raising two knuckleheads back then. We grew up to be kind of all right though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had so many mentors and coaches along the way. My high school coach, Steve Spangler, get through college, Art Marcos, who was my DB coach. Those guys that in the NFL, Raheem's of the world, Mike Tomlin, Jimmy Lake, even, and then of course Herm Edwards, my first DB coach. Those guys all molded me, man.
Yeah.
So when I look at myself as going into the Hall of Fame, I'm looking at those guys going in right along with me because they're part of what I did. So I'm looking forward to it. The speech, I don't know. I just got to figure out a way to start it. If I can get going, I think I'll be all right.
Yes, you will. Well, what you go. I don't know if I've ever asked you this question in a long time, but I think it's appropriate right now. Having such a rough first year, what took you out of that? What was it that made you become the pro? I've heard the story of Herm Edwards, basically saying, I can't play him. He's not a professional yet. Where did you take me through that metamorphosis?
That's man. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that question. I mean, I remember the process though. And it wasn't that I wasn't a pro. I just didn't know what being a pro meant.
Right.
Like, what does that even mean?
Right.
How do you quantify that to a guy that's come out of Virginia with a lot of success and really everything had come easy for me up to that point? But I will tell you this: when I went to camp, and because everybody was telling me I wasn't big enough to play in the NFL, all those stories. Oh, he's only 5'9", 185 pounds. I remember I came to camp that year, and I'd done a lot of working out and lifting. I was like 195 pounds when I first got to Tampa, thinking that I needed to be big and strong to play in the NFL. And but Herm was right. I couldn't move. All the quickness and shiftiness that defined me later in my career, that definitely was not there my rookie year. But by the end of the year, just going through practice, I remember Herm did tell me this. He's like, "You're not going to play. You're not ready, right?" Same thing he told everybody.
Yeah.
He goes, "But I want you to take every single rep you can in practice, every single one. Don't come out. Don't take a break. Don't let somebody else do your deal." By the end of that year, the development had started, and then by the next year, when I got my opportunity, I just ran with it. And that off season, I literally lost 10 pounds and got to the playing weight that I played out the rest of my career. So it was just a learning curve, and I got up the learning curve faster than probably they even expected.
Rondé Barber joining us here, going into the Hall of Fame in August. We will all be there, of course. Now, when you when you take that second step. So what was the second step? Okay, now I belong. Now I'm playing. Now I'm do you look around and you say, wow, these guys are really, really good. How do I get to the level of Derek Brooks? Take me through that whole next level that took you to the all-pro level.
Yeah, this is good because when you're in a room full of Hall of Fame type players, obviously we got 3 other ones from that team, and you could throw Simeon Rice and some other Dexter Jackson, Blake Smith, Brian Kelly and Donnie Abraham, who are the high level players.
Yep.
You go into meetings and post game, and Monty watched every single snap with the entire defense. This is no joke. And everybody in every room, defensive line, linebackers, and the secondary, you got called out, or not just by coaches, but by the players. You got called out or celebrated. I remember thinking, I'm going to get on this film, and I want everybody to talk about how good I did, something good that I did. And that was like a driving factor, motivating factor.
Mm-hmm.
If I missed a reroute or something, and the quarterback threw the ball down the sideline in like cover 2, Warren Sapp's in the back of the room yelling, Randy, you got to get that reroute, Bucky. It's like the accountability that we had on our team, I think, separated us. It's why we became such a good unit. And so the next steps, if you're asking what the next steps, it probably started there.
Right.
And wanting to, perfect my craft so I could be the type of player that was celebrated in my room, and then everything else just follows in line. And it was a great run, hell of a journey, man. I don't know if there's one moment where I could say, I have it, I figured it out, but I felt all the way along the line I got incrementally better each and every day, or at least tried to, and it helped me make a whole bunch of plays, buddy.
I'm doing this interview like I'm trying to learn as much from a Hall of Famer as I possibly can. I sometimes I don't remember some of these answers, but I think they're even better than they were the first time. So my next question is, because I always like to learn from the greats, and I've asked, I've had the opportunity to interview some of the greatest, and I've always asked this question: what took you to the next level in terms of, and I know your study and everything else, but let's just go a little bit deeper. How does a 5'9", whatever, 185-pound guy start 215 consecutive games and make the plays that you made? I mean, it's all about making plays, right? We see people. I can go name a lot of really good players that don't have 10 interceptions in 5 years.
Yeah.
Making the picks, getting the forced fumbles, getting the sacks. There's something there. Everybody says, well, he's always around the ball. What is it? Tell me, how'd you do it?
Right. It's, what, you can say that. It's funny. So the Bucs sent out prior to give you a little anecdote here. The Bucs sent out prior to the vote for Hall of Fame. They sent out that video of all my touchdowns, right? And some of them were fumbles, and the interceptions. And my buddy Brian Radigan, his daughter Ferris, was watching the video with him, and she goes, the ball just kind of goes to him all the time. She's 9 years old. She's got the great perspective. The ball just kind of goes to wherever he is all the time. I would answer your question by saying you prepare yourself to be there, right? Like there's certain pre-snap keys and formations and tendencies that players and coordinators like to do that if you just study enough, you're gonna put yourself in a position to be ready to make a play. And so you don't go out and just make plays. I hate when people say, just go make a play, just go make a play. It's not possible to just go make a play. You do your job, and then the opportunity comes, and you're prepared for that opportunity, you're going to make a play. So I like to say that, a lot of my interceptions were touchdowns, and a lot of the big plays that I made in my career, I made them look easy. It's because I was in position to make them look easy. And then all I had to do was do my job. Then the athleticism and instincts and all those other tangible things that people like to try to quantify, those turn you into a really good player. So I'd say it's a combination of a bunch of things, but the top of the list is preparation, man. You have to prepare for success. You don't, you're just trying to get by on, pure talent. And pure talent has never made a Hall of Famer, ever. Unless you're Lawrence Taylor.
That was awesome. That answer was freaking awesome. That, not only for football, but for life. Nick has a question.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about like the second half of your career when you were still a productive player. And obviously there were some lean year there's here with the Buccaneers and a lot of players. And we see it, I think, more so now. They go kind of, for lack of like ring chasing, right? And they want to win and they leave and go elsewhere. But you stayed through all those lean years, and you ended up being, I think, the longest tenured Buccaneer. Did that mean something to you at that time? Was there ever a thought of, hey, maybe I want to leave Tampa Bay right now?
No, never. Actually, when Bruce Allen was here, and I remember, and JP will remember this very well. I was so underpaid as a corner in the league, considering my success. And this is because the year after I signed a long-term deal under Rich McKay, the next year I led the league in interceptions, and I'm on this 6-year deal that's paying me like, I don't know, mid-tier cornerback money. And I stuck with it. I understood what I was to this team. And then Bruce Allen gave me a long-term extension when I was 31 years old. So I was 31 years old, and I'm making the most money that I've made in my career. But it was a commitment from them that made me commit to the Buccaneers. And at the end of my career, I remember my agent, Ethan Locke, he was like, I'm not even charging you for your contract now because you've been here for so long. We're just recycling one-year deals at the end. So there was never an option for me in my mind that I even considered leaving. I like to say it, and JP's heard me say this 1,000 times. I had a lot invested in the emotional bank account for Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Glazer family's been great to me, then and since. So I knew I was a lifetime Buck, and I'd seen Trap leave and go to Oakland. I saw John leave and go to Denver. They, I think, concertedly didn't want to see another one of their legends leave and go have some success somewhere else.
Rondé Barber joining us here. And Rondé, I know it's going to be a big celebration, but how do you envision August going? Like, what is that going to be like for you in terms of family and friends and being up on the dais with some incredible players and just putting on that gold jacket and seeing your bust?
Yeah, that's the process from here on out. I think is going to be hectic, but fun. How do I see it? I'd love to get all 3 million people in Tampa, St. Pete that love me as a football player and transport them to the middle of nowhere, Ohio, and celebrate with me. But yeah, it'll be. We actually have a site visit in March, early March. I get to go up there and figure out where I want to do a party and try to get a feel for what it's going to be like standing on that stage. And they'll set us down on this weekend, actually measure us for our jacket, do the initial measurements for the bus. Wow. Do all the memorabilia and all that stuff, and then later, an expert will come to the house and start carving out the actual bus. I mean, it's surreal to think about what's coming in the next couple of months for me, but I'm looking forward to it. And trust me, JP, I'm going to try to put on one hell of an epic party.
Well,
you know me well enough to know that I like to get after it with my friends.
Well, listen, I was just remembering your retirement party, and I still have that CD of you and everybody doing that Michael Jackson dance, which was phenomenal. Living out your childhood dream. Like all football players want to be entertainers. All entertainers want to be football players. And you got to do it, man. And you crushed it. So you've set the bar really high as far as after that retirement party. So I don't know. You and Claudia are going to have to come up with something exceptional to beat that. But I have every confidence that you are going to do that. And I better get an invite. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, you will, buddy. You definitely will.
So I cannot wait. Well, listen, man, in closing, I just can't thank you enough for all you've done for me. And I'm getting choked up here. From the first time that you walked on that set at News Channel 8, I knew that, you were a humble man and you wanted to learn. And I tried to give you everything I could. And watching tape with you over the years, you taught me so much about this game. I watch all your episodes that you do for the Bucs. I secretly stalk you on all that stuff you do and because I just can't stop listening to you because you're one of the smartest, kindest, most wonderful people, and you're a fucking badass. You are a fucking badass. And I've never seen a player in my life play with the ferocity and the complete commitment and awareness and everything that goes into it. And more than that, just the will to win against all odds. And I don't think there's ever been a player that's done it better with what they were given physically and absolutely transformed it into a Hall of Fame player. It's one of the most amazing stories I've ever witnessed, and I've got to witness it really up close. And thank you for everything you've done for my kids, Cullen and Shay, my family. The words just don't They just aren't worthy of what my gratitude for you, my man. Really aren't. So thank you.
Thanks, JP. I don't even know how to respond to that other than say I love you, dude. I say it all the time, man. I love you. But it's been an honor being on this journey. Being on this journey with people like you, man. You're one of my closest friends. I'll do whatever you ask me to do because we've been through all this a long, long time, man. Long time. This journey is never walked alone. It is never walked alone, man. I'm glad I've had you with me.
Well, you got to have people like, these type of friendships to make it work. So thank you, man. I appreciate it. Go enjoy the rest of the day. I know you got a lot of media to do. You're the best. My love to you,
Thanks,
Yamil and Claudia and everybody. Thanks, buddy.
I'll pass it on.
Right.
See you.
Oh, I knew I always cry. I always do in these moments. I can't help myself.
Well, you're one of the few people lucky enough to have really close relationships with a Hall of Famer, Rondé Barber, and maybe the greatest head coach in college football of all time, in Bobby Bowden, that you had those personal relationships. So,
it's times like this when, it's later on in my career, you just, the way things are set up these days, you can't get close to the athletes. You just can't anymore. It's very difficult. There's just a set, and I get it, man. I can't defend a lot of people in my business that have wronged a lot of athletes. So they're, the kids today are rightfully very skeptical of the people in the media. I get it. They're kept at arm's length. I get it. But back in the day, you could build these relationships with Derek Brooks and Rondé Barber and John Lynch and so many others that I've been so blessed to be able to cover. Tony Dungy. I mean, Bobby Bowden. I mean, think of the people that I've been able. If you're not learning something from these people besides what they do in football or basketball or baseball, you're missing the whole point of being in their presence. Really are, and that's why I ask the questions that I do. What's your favorite memory? I mean, those are good at times. You like to hear them, but I like to get into what makes you tick, man. What made you great? Because I hope when you see these interviews, you take a little inspiration from it and you go, man. I can be better. My life can be better. I can fulfill my entire potential, which is what life is all about, right? Making memories and fulfilling your potential and having no regrets at the end. And when you go into an endeavor like Rondé went into playing NFL football and the odds are stacked against you in every way, you got to find a way to be great. And if you can't learn lessons from the way this man has conducted his life, and the way he played football, which is a metaphor for the way everyone should live their life, you're just missing it. You're missing, it's not just football. It's just football. It's just sports. It's so much more than that. This is why I love sports. It's for stories like this. And this is life. Sports is the ultimate reality show. And what you see on Sunday, and Rondé is the personification of this. What you see on Sunday is the residue of a life's work. It's not just practice that week, okay? It's the weight room at age 9 when you started lifting weights. It's the 25 miles that you ran that one week of preparation. It's all of that stuff coming full circle to make a play on a Sunday, to win a Super Bowl, to lift the Lombardi Trophy. And that's why it's so hard to do, and that's why guys celebrate it. It's not just a 3-hour game. It's the week's preparation, putting yourself into those. That's another thing Rondé once told me. Another one of his great sayings. I'm willing to do things that other players are not. And that's it. He's willing to pay the price to make the tackle, to do the preparation, late nights, early mornings, tough workouts, all of it. I'm willing to do things that other players aren't. And that's why I'm better than a lot of them. And that's a lot of your success right there. And you can apply that to any part of your life. Are you willing to do things and spend time while your friends are out, as my old coach used to say, having a ham sandwich at the beach? While they're out doing that, what are you doing? Do you want to pay the price? Are you going to pay the price? I heard Dion say the other day, Tom Brady's records will never be touched. LeBron's records will never be touched because there's not a commitment from these subsequent generations to do the work. There's just not, and I get it. You are a product of your environment, and everything comes easy these days. These guys have the best facilities, the best training, the best nutrition, the best everything. They're coddled from 8, 9 years old when they're identified as great athletes. It just sets a whole different atmosphere for coming up through the ranks. Guys like Rondé and LeBron and some of these older guys, the old heads, so to speak, that have held on for so long and are still holding on. Tom Brady, we talked about this last week. They came up in an era where their parents were part of the greatest generation. There was none of this bullshit that goes on right now. None of it. None of this crap was tolerated. No, you got to get your ass in there and work. You got to get there and work. And we're not going to coddle you. And we're going to tell you things you don't want to hear. We're going to be mean to you. We're going to yell at you because iron sharpens iron. You got to get in the fire to get molded, man. You can't stay out on the perimeter and do your s'mores and think you're going to be great, man. You got to get in the freaking fire. And that's exactly what Rondé did. That's what he did all the time for 16 years, 215 consecutive games. Never a day off. No days off for 16 years. 16 years. It's an amazing legacy. It is an amazing legacy. No question about it. All right, we'll take a break. I'll go get a couple tissues here, and we'll come back on the other side. We got Brian Bradley coming up at 11 o'clock. We're going to talk some Lightning from last night as they got a big 5-0 win over the Avs. Brian Bradley will join us at 11 o'clock. TJ Rives at 11:35. Who am I forgetting? That's it. So we got a lot more coming your way. We're going to break down the game as well. Nick's got some stuff he wants to get off his chest. So lots more great stuff coming on the JP Peterson Show. Stay with us.
JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah, so call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years.
The boys are back. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship returns March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of incredible golf plus a host of activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. There is more to the Valspar than just great golf. It's the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Snake Pit Club, accessible by premium tickets, and other great venues throughout the course for those with ground tickets. And new in 2023 is the Rooftop, a new prestigious venue at the 18th green with music, food, and fun. Plus, you never know who you're going to see at the Rooftop. Tickets are on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds tickets and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss the 2023 Valspar Championship.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source. The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry supercenter with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. they have everything right there in-house. So why go anywhere else? And you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and gold, Florida State, get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching, modern, geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the after the conclusion of play. And on Sunday, we're going to crown a champion. You don't want to miss it. Everybody will be there. Tickets on sale now at valsparchampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss it. The 2023 Valspar Championship.
Hey guys, it's a new year, so are you looking for a new you to lose weight, lean up? There are many diets and chiropractors and weight loss clinics out there, but you know where to start? Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo, PA, and his professional staff will devise a personal plan for you that gets results and help you keep the weight off. Everybody metabolizes food and supplements differently, and many of these other approaches are designed for the masses, the quick weight loss, but it doesn't stay off, right? Chris will spend one-on-one time with you to find out what works best for you so the weight comes off safely without use of drugs that only work temporarily. So call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. And Chris will join us each Monday at 11:45 to talk about your wellness and the significant injuries to athletes in the sports world. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Thank Rondé Barber for doing that interview with us. I know he had a lot of obligations today, so hope you guys enjoyed that. We're brought to you by the great folks at Jeeves Law Group. If your car was totaled in an accident, you didn't get what you think you deserve, or you have been in an accident, get somebody that's going to fight for you, and insurance companies hate seeing, and that's Scott Jeeves. So they'll get you a much better settlement. Whatever your issues are, if you've had a slip and fall, you have any employment issues, class action lawsuits, anything in the legal realm that you need, the Jeeves Law Group can handle it all. They've got experts in every field, and they come with a reputation of being very dogged and ferocious. So that's the person you want on your side. So get in touch with them at jeeveslawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you. Brian Bradley needs to scoot to 11:20, so we'll talk to him at 11:20. Yeah, great game last night by the Lightning. They came out. Corey Perry got an early goal with beautiful toe drag backhand to beat Georgiev. How do you say that? I said it like Trump too.
Georgiev.
Anyway, they got the best of him, and Vasi was fantastic last night. Made probably 5 to 7 tremendous saves. Did the last call show with Brian Engbaum last night, and he couldn't stop raving about Vasi. And I think to that degree, maybe the Lightning didn't play as well as 5-0 might indicate in beating the Stanley Cup champs. But you know what? They probably had one stolen from them on Tuesday night from San Jose. So whatever. They played well enough. They were 2 for 3 on the power play. Their penalty kill was 2 for 2. They turned the special teams around. It was a tremendous performance.
Yeah, and Corey Perry shows you that he's still got those hands, man.
Woo,
that is
sweet
in front of the net. I think he's made a living of scoring at least 400 of his 400 something of goals in front of the net.
Yep.
Right, and even Braden Point. When you're hot, you're hot. You said he was going to score a goal last night because it's Braden Point, and he was going to be amped up for this.
Damn right.
He scores a goal, not the kind that we were thinking.
Nope.
Not the kind we were thinking.
It's dirty.
But when you're hot, you're hot.
Yeah.
And up to 32 goals now. And Brian Bradley, and I can't wait to talk to him about this because he said, I want to say about a month ago, that he thinks Braden Point can score 50 goals in the National Hockey League if he wants to. I think he's going to get there with ease this year.
I think he is. I think
he's going to get there with ease.
I didn't take you to task for this, but yesterday when Chief said, I don't know why Braden Point's not considered one of the top 5 players in the league. And I was like pointing at you. I'm like, yeah, tell that my man Nick that, because I said that a month ago or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Okay, well,
you were like, you're crazy, man.
I'm going to reiterate my stance. He is not a top 5 player in the National Hockey League. And that's not a knock on him. And that's not a knock on him. But he's not a top 5 player in the National Hockey League. Now, if you want to put him in the top 10, I'm willing to budge on that. I can go top 10. I can't go top 5.
The guys that you're going to mention, some of them don't even have a cup.
I'm looking at the individual player itself.
Doesn't matter.
The individual player itself is what I'm looking at. Regardless.
You can't just look at the numbers. You got to look at, a lot of other numbers.
Regardless, he is the engine to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah. Every time I watch him play now, I'm starting to get on board with what you said about if he was healthy last year, this team would probably have 3 cups.
3-peat.
I forget sometimes how important he is to this team. Yeah. It's every night. And then
don't they look a lot faster when he's out there?
They do. And you want to know who else reminds me of Braden Point, but from the left-handed side lately? It's Brandon Hagel.
Hagel's been fantastic.
Tell me you don't watch
21 goals now after
21
two
goals
last night.
21 goals. Night. I put this out, and him and Nick Paul have 37 combined goals this year. 2 guys that we didn't even know they could even get last year, right? And Breeze Ball, he gets criticized for those moves. So these guys aren't that good for what you gave up. They only got 37 goals this year combined, and we're like halfway through the season.
Yeah, Hagel could definitely get to 40. He could definitely give a 40
this
goal
year.
scorer.
Not this year. Not this year. No, he can get to 30.
I can say that
he'll be a 30-goal scorer this year.
He is going to have a tremendous second half because and Engblom and I talked about this last night. He's getting to a comfortability level, and as Brian said, he is probably one of the top 2 or 3 players on the forecheck. He's been leading the league or first or second in takeaways, and most of those come in the offensive zone where he goes in and digs it out. He's just really good at that. His size, his lower body, it reminds you so much of Marty St. Louis in that regard. He goes into the corners and he just roots it out, gets the puck, and then expertly gets it to where it needs to be. And his scoring ability, I think, is way better than I thought it was.
It's the confidence.
It's
all about confidence.
That drop pass last night from Killorn, and then he had that thing set up from the very beginning. That was just such a beautiful goal. And he's making things happen. Those are the guys that make things happen. Don't wait for things to happen, but make things happen.
That's the difference. That's the difference between the Hagel we saw last year and Hagel we saw this year. Because I thought last year, especially in the playoffs,
a little passive.
I was saying to myself, okay, he's starting to make things happen a little bit. Like in the playoffs. Maybe the puck wasn't going in the back of the net, but he was around it. He was good on the forecheck. And now this year, playing up in the top 2 lines, playing with talented players like he did in Chicago with Patrick Kane, he's got that confidence back. And to your point with the one where Killorn dropped it back to him, no hesitation. No hesitation. Don't play with it. He picked out his spot and he fired it in there because he's a goal scorer.
Right.
And he can be. And he's going to score 30 goals. And even last night, that game being on ESPN in front of the entire nation, the ESPN broadcast could not stop talking about Brandon Hagel. They talked about Brandon Hagel last night more than they talked about any player on the ice last night. And there were a lot of stars. He was talked about more than anybody. I think Ray Ferraro said this is the best game I've ever seen Brandon Hagel play.
Yeah. And that's what you need. I mean, you need another guy to step up like that to become the Andre Palat.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
especially when you're in a funk like they were coming into this game.
Yeah. I expect it. We said it yesterday. This is, okay, so they lost 2 games coming out of the break. This will get their attention. Colorado, Dallas, Colorado, Arizona, Vegas. That's the road trip. Right? Yeah. So Dallas, number 1 in their division. Colorado, number 3, but has had a lot of injuries and playing better lately. Vegas is they're number 1, right?
Yeah, I think they're number 1 in the Pacific.
Yeah, and by the way, their goalie last night,
Thompson
left with what looked like a very serious groin pull or leg injury. Had to be helped off the ice. So bad for him, but these are the attrition things that happen during the season. So, it's a big road trip. Yeah. It's a really big road trip.
Saturday's going to be cool. I didn't realize until I looked at the schedule. It's a 1:00 matinee on the mothership
on ABC.
The
big one.
I love it. Hockey games on ABC.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
How was the energy last night, by the way? Because the ESPN I'm just here to tell you, they do the thing that like the Amazon Prime does, where the entire crowd noise is like so lowered. Where you can't hear. So explain the energy in the crowd. Was it there last night?
It was good. I wouldn't say over the top. I wouldn't say playoff atmosphere for whatever reason. It was a late arriving crowd again, which has been an issue for me. But they got it going early on with Corey Perry's goal. But I don't want to shortchange it, but it was it's a great atmosphere as it always is in Amalie Arena. But it wasn't one of those over the top ones, like not quite to the Boston level of last week, a couple of weeks ago.
Boston's a different animal.
Because there were lots of Boston fans there, and when the other team is there too, it just seems to be a really cool vibe.
I was just curious because I was just like watching it last night, and I was like, why are these mics so lowered? It literally is like the Amazon Prime thing.
I hate when they do that.
It was hard. It was a little weird to watch.
There was definitely energy in the building. There's no question about it with the abs there and whatnot. But yeah, McCarr not playing last night. We gotta recognize that as well.
You got to recognize Braden Point not playing.
That's right, exactly. To the comment sections. Here's a new name, Alex. Welcome in. Love Rondé. 4 players from the 2002 defense in the hall. Well deserved. Yeah, this defense in I read a stat in the Romano column today that was really, really cool. That defense that year was allowed 12.5 points per game, which I believe was 7 points less than the next closest. That was 9.7s better than the NFL average that season. More than 20 years later, no other defense has outperformed the rest of the league by such a wide margin. See, that's what you do in the year, vis-a-vis the league average or the next best, I think is really points to how good of a defense they were. And now it's proven out by having 4 Hall of Famers on that defense and Simeon Rice knocking on the door. I don't know if he'll ever get in, but
I don't get it. He's never even in when they come out with the list of 28 names. I mean, that just tells me if he can't even make that list, he's so far off the radar. Yeah. But I don't get it.
I think the knock on Simeon is he never played the run, which I don't think is fair because I don't remember that when he was here. I don't remember that. That may have been in Arizona but when he was here, he played the run.
I don't know.
You don't play for Monty Kiffin without playing the run. Sorry.
But even if he did, again, I didn't see much of Simeon Rice. It was a little bit before my time, but I can look at numbers, and I mean, numbers are a big part of this always, right?
Right. Oh, huge part of it. Because so many of the voters.
To me, I look at it, he had 8 double-digit sack seasons with, I think, 3 of 14 or more mixed in there as well. He did it for 8 seasons, and he had a decade of longevity there where he was probably, top 3 at his position at least?
And I'm here to tell you that defense, the Bucs defense, was fantastic. It took it to another level when Simeon came in.
Exactly.
And Rich McKay knew that. Rich McKay paid him $20 million a year, which for that time was outrageous. They stretched the cap a couple of years to get him in here, and that was a stroke of genius by Rich, because you could have taken that defense and not done anything with it and just said, "Oh, that's good enough. Let's work on the offense." But and if you go back to that Super Bowl, and you could talk about Dwight Smith and Dexter Jackson, everybody was awesome. Everybody was an MVP. But I think most people would tell you Simeon Rice dominated that game.
Yeah.
He dominated that game. He forced Gannon into throwing quick and was constantly in his – I mean, it was like every time he went back, either Simeon hit him or it was in his ear whizzing by him. I mean, it was dramatic watching. You go back and watch that Super Bowl, you go, well, why isn't Simeon Rice there? He was a game changer. There's no question about it. But Hardy Nickerson was an early foundation of that. Hardy Nickerson was one hell of a middle linebacker.
I was going to say him and Donnie Abraham.
Yeah, those guys are Hall of Fame cusp. So you had 4 Hall of Famers, and you had probably 3 guys on the cusp. And then, Rondé talks about Brian Kelly, and you can go to guys like Greg Spires, the Crane.
Booger.
And Booger didn't play in the Super Bowl, right? Or that Super Bowl.
Well, let's throw Shelton Quarles in there, too.
Shelton Quarles.
I want him to go unnoticed.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many of them. You know what's interesting about all those guys? Super freaking smart. I mean, all those guys had football IQs. Sapp, Culpepper. Those guys were all really what I would say. I mean, I could tell you talking to guys in the locker room, and there are tiers of football intelligence and just pure intelligence. Every one of those guys, super smart, and that was a big part of their defense, because they were very malleable. They could change and shape shift into whatever they wanted to do on any play in any game. Monty could make adjustments, and those guys could do it so quickly. It's been a big part of Belichick's success. Belichick has always been about getting smart football players. That's one of his prerequisites at the top of the list, because it allows you to be able to adjust in game and do things and do it really well. And that's something that the Bucs defense, I mean, if you have a team that can just go out there and you can detect what that other team wants to do to you early in the game, and then you have the guys that can not only physically handle the changes that you need to make and have the ability to do so, but they can mentally do it and do it well and communicate it and do it together. That's what great defenses do. That's what great defenses do. And they were all that type of player. They were tough. They were smart. They were fast. They were well prepared. All those things come into it to being the best of the best. And that 2002 defense has got to be up there with the Steel Curtain, with the Doomsday defense. All of those great defenses, the Ravens defense, the 85 Bears. I don't know how you say which one's better, but I've never seen a better one. That 85 Bears defense was great.
I'm fresh off watching the Bullies of Baltimore 30 for 30.
Yeah.
And I from my takeaway from that is I thought the Bucs offense in 2002 and through that time frame had limitations. And the Ravens one had even more so limitations in 2000 than the Bucs did in 2002.
Trent Dilfer's no Brad Johnson.
I mean, I learned they went like a whole month where the only offense they had was Matt Stover's field goals. They didn't score an offensive touchdown for like 4 games. Okay, I learned that, and they were shutting people out left and right. Like, so I don't know. It's all subjective, right? In this market, we're going to vouch for Tampa Bay. There's 5 Hall of Famers here. I'm not sure if there's 5 or 4 Hall of Famers. I'm not sure if there's 4 from that Baltimore team.
Woodson, Lewis.
I don't think the other ones are Hall of Famers. They were just really good players that were made up, like Starks in the back,
Saragusa,
and there's
who were there?
Peter Bulwer was there as well. I think it was just a collective unit of really good players, but I think there's only 2 Hall of Famers that were on that defense in Woodson and Ray Lewis.
Yeah. It's proof is in the pudding in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's some crazy good stuff. What else we wanted to get? Oh, the honors last night. MVP goes to, I have to say this, the angry runs that Kyle Brandt did.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
He is electric.
Whose idea was it to put it after DeMar Hamlin?
That was a little bit of a botch, wasn't it?
It was a little bit of a botch.
Yeah.
A guy that almost gets killed, did die on the field and was revived supposedly because of a hard hit that he took. Next, let's celebrate angry runs. Producer, where you at?
With cocaine, it's like Cocaine Bear in real life out there.
Who's looking at the rundown? Whatever. That was and Rashad White did not win, but he was in.
No, that was the funny thing. They went through all that, and the guy who won, to me, didn't deserve to win. Mm-mm. Did you watch all the Angry Run nominees?
Yeah.
It was Najee Harris to lose.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Najee Harris planted somebody's face right into the ground.
Yeah.
Damian Pierce just kind of ran through some people and some arm tackles. I love Damian Pierce. He's a tough runner.
Well, even Rashad, at the level of that stiff arm.
Yeah, and I love the little he got one of those, he hit him with after it.
It's a distance. I mean, the distance at which he threw that guy. That was impressive.
Yeah. And the funniest thing, though, to me, I don't even know it's funny, actually, because I know he's a lot older now, but he went over to Jim Brown, Kyle Brandt did, and Jim Brown's just sitting there. And we were having fun with it last night in the On3 sports chat, and it was like Jim Brown has no idea who this guy is. He wants him far away from him. He's disturbing his peace. He's just trying to take in the night and get home. And Kyle Brandt's in his face talking really loud.
Who is this white mother my grill?
It was hilarious. And
it's funny because, we in the NFL now, where we watching, we know Kyle, we know this thing, we know how he runs.
I don't think Jim Brown knows.
99.5% of the population has no idea who Kyle Brandt is or what angry runs are. And this dude's coming out yelling and screaming with a scepter, and he's all buffed up, and he's just like, what kind of crazy ass is this? Man, yeah, that was so you watched the whole thing.
I watched the entire thing, and I'm not big on these
award shows
for sports. I think sports award shows, but they had a great pace to it. Like they had 4 awards announced in the first 25 minutes, and I was like, I love this. Keep the pace going.
Right.
Kelly Clarkson, did you see her dress?
Mm-mm.
Oh, goodness gracious. Kelly Clarkson comes out with this Cowboys dress. The top of it's like a CeeDee Lamb long sleeve jersey, and the entire skirt section just had Zeke's name on it and Dak's name on it, and every Cowboys player was on it.
It's like a Cowboys vomit on her.
It really was. It was a Cowboys vomit, and then she was talking about all you that are booing are just haters, and then she proceeds to throw some shots at the Cowboys with Dak and Micah Parsons in attendance, which was set up perfectly. We had George Kittle sing a little tune.
Yeah.
And I think, what did he say? not George Kittle, Kirk Cousins, my bad. George Kittle did a tune too, but Kirk Cousins did some kind of tune as well. But no, I'm so flipped up, right? Hold on. There's a lot of tunes sung. Cameron Jordan, my bad.
Cam
Jordan did like a little tune, and they were doing it to like Kelly Clarkson songs, like with the music in the background. And Cam Jordan had like a line about wishing Sean Payton best, and like can't wait to see your reaction when Russell Wilson has another. I think he put some kind of word in there, but he was throwing shots at Russell Wilson. Yeah, and that was kind of funny too.
Cam throws a lot of shots. He really does.
He loves throwing shots at stars.
He's a funny guy. The Brady thing was, they're going to the Bucs should go back to what they were before Brady. And what? How many rings do you have? Like what? So it was a good night for the
it's a good award show.
NFL honors. Yeah, I don't watch many of them, but I'm going to go back and watch the whole Rondé thing, and then the Hall of Fame stuff as well. And Mahomes wins the MVP. I don't think anybody has a problem with that. Jalen Hurts certainly could have won that, no question about it. But
no, I hate when they do this, and also like LeBron should have like 15 MVPs, but we get voter fatigue.
Right.
Mahomes should if he's the best player every league, you should just keep winning it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have a problem with that. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Brian Bradley's going to join us. We'll talk a little bit more Lightning after last night's big win over the Avs. Who caught his eye, and this road trip coming up. What do we need to see from the Bolts in terms of getting better? I think I know what Brian's going to say. So we'll do that when we come back. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group and Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. If you're looking to lose weight, testosterone replacement therapy, or get your immune system boosted up, that's the place to go. We love Chris Lugo. He comes on with us every Monday, 11:45. So go to BAMMC.com and get your appointment. Back at 3. Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry super center with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. They have everything right there in-house, so why go anywhere else? So you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and gold, Florida State, get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching, modern, geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Are you concerned your spouse might be cheating, or want to locate a long-lost relative or love? Or a missing person and the police are not helping? An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency,
American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Valspar Championship, coming up the 16th through the 19th. Going to have a great field, and it's going to be an even better social event, so get your tickets now. The premium tickets are definitely going to sell out. The Snake Pit premium stuff, where you got a bunch of different areas you can go to and eat and drink. Then they have the rooftop, where famous people like our next guests are going to be hanging out, and you can bug them for autographs and take selfies with them. That's going to be over at 18. They got the Owl's Nest, all kinds of great stuff. So ValsparChampionship.com. Go get your tickets. It'll be Rondé Day on Thursday. We're going to celebrate him as the Hall of Famer, so it'll be fun. All right, let's bring in our good friend Brian Bradley. What's up, Brads? How you doing, my friend?
Good, JP. How are you doing today?
Good. I know you're getting ready to go play some golf, and you'll be out there at the Valspar Championship, I bet, hanging out, signing autographs, taking pictures, right?
Yeah, it's always a great tournament. You know, they do a great job at Valspar. I know the guy, Mike Harrison, really well, worked for the Lightning and now in charge of the marketing and all that stuff over there. He's it's always a great tournament. What a tough course. Unbelievably hard course, Copperhead.
Oh, you shoot 65 every time you go out there. Who you kidding, man?
Yeah.
Who you
Well,
kidding?
you know, I'd shoot 65, but maybe coming down 14.
It's me, buddy. That's me. I know you got to get to your tee time, so we won't hold you too long. But that was a win. That was a win we needed last night. No question about it. After a couple of bad losses coming out of the break, but you knew that having the Abs in the house was going to get their attention, and the Lightning picked up their game tremendously last night. What'd you think?
Yeah, you know what? Before we talk about the game, you know, I know you talked about it, but just on behalf of the Lightning and, you know, me personally want to give her a little shout out and congrats to Rondé Barber.
Absolutely.
What a great guy. You know, it's about time he got in the Hall of Fame, and, you know, everybody in the city of Tampa can't be more proud, especially the Lightning organization. I've known Rondé for a long time, and you know what? Kudos to him, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. And he's always been a big fan of the Lightning, big friend of the Lightning. He will be there in the playoffs supporting you guys. And I know we're going to have a nice celebration for Rondé when he gets back at Amalie Arena. So I know Coop kind of found out about it and called him yesterday morning. He and John Cooper are good friends as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of love for Rondé Barber at the Tampa Bay Lightning, so deservedly so.
Yeah, no, and it's great. And you know what, getting back to your point of the game, that was like you know what, it was one of those games we needed. Yeah. It was like a statement game where they beat us last year in the playoffs. Obviously they won the Stanley Cup. They were missing the top player, Cale Makar. Let's not kid ourselves. He's the top end defenseman, probably number one in the NHL with Victor Hedman. But at the end of the day, you know what, I thought it was a dominating game. You know what, after losing 7-1 to Florida and then you know, after playing well but not getting, getting 1 point against San Jose, you know, 4-3 loss, I thought we came out, we played like a playoff game. I mean, you know, I'm going to talk about Vasilevsky in a second. I'm going to talk about Brendan Hagel. But I thought the guy who played unbelievable last night, he doesn't get a lot of recognition, but Anthony Cirelli to me was one of my first stars. He was awesome against Nate McKinnon. He shut that line down, didn't give him many opportunities. He had 2 assists. Played a great game. Our face-off percentage were, I think, 69%, and I think he went 14-4. That's controlling the puck. So when you win face-offs, you control the puck. So to me, honestly, I think Cirelli was just so good. set the tone of the game. And, we'll talk about the other guys here in a second.
Yeah, and Sorelli, and I talked with Engblom about this last night on the post-game show. His line, I'm not sure how many points they had last night, but they were a +2, while McKinnon's line was, for the most part, -2 or -3. And that's, that's a big difference right there. Not only are you shutting down the other team, but you're scoring on them. And that's debilitating. Whenever you can get that type of matchup, which, Coop can do at home, that was impressive, was it not?
Oh, yeah. No, you look at Strelly had 2 assists. He was 70% on faceoffs. Brendan Hagel had 2 goals and assists, and Clorn had 3 assists. That's a dominating line for your checking line against their number 1 line. So we just dominated the game against them. And you know what? Like I said, I thought it all started, looking at the whole thing. Corey Perry's, the goal he got on the power play to get this thing going was a great goal by a veteran guy. That was a great move in front of the net. And, then Brendan Hagel scores and Braden Point gets a goal, and then Hagel another one, and Sergachev with a rocket.
Yeah.
I talk about Brendan Hagel. 2 goals and assists. I thought he was dynamite. Like I said, we talked about Sorelli, but Brendan Hagel to me and Vasilevsky in net. I thought Vazzy was amazing. So to me, they were both great. Vazzy with the shutout, no question, but Brendan Hagel was Vazzy was A1 and he was A2. So you know what? Great games by both those guys. And Sorelli was right up there. But Clorn had 3 assists. Point had a goal and assist.
Yeah.
I thought the whole team played well. Maroon got in a fight. Ross Colton got into a fight, but we needed a game like this. Coming off All-Star break, we didn't really play. Obviously, Florida was just a throw it in the tank game.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, San Jose, we should have beat them. But you know what? We came back. Now we got about a 4-game road trip, and it's not going to be easy. You go to Dallas, you go to Colorado with a revenge game going on, and you go to Arizona and Las Vegas. So it's not an easy schedule, but you know what? Delaney looked good when they turned it on, and Vazzy plays like he did. Vazzy plays like he did last night, JP.
Oh.
I don't want to play Vazzy in the playoffs.
No, hell no. And you knew that after that Florida game, he was coming back with that. And that's his first shutout in 85 games. I didn't realize that. He hadn't had a shutout in 85 games dating back to November of 2021. And he wanted it. He said after the game that he wasn't really paying attention to that. I say bull crap. That's number 1 bullshit right there. He wanted that shutout. There's no doubt.
Oh, yeah, no, and the guys were playing for him. I think he had another time we were playing someone about a month and a half ago where he had a shutout go in the last 2 minutes and we blew it. You know what? You got to give your goalie. Sometimes, you know what? You want to score some goals and trying to get Brendan Hagel a hat trick. But at the end of the day, you don't want to give up any goals. Give Vazzy the shutout. He's always there for you. So, you know what? It was great to see. Happy for Vazzy. And you know what? It was awesome.
Yeah, it was good to see that. All right, so now they go on the road. They've got Colorado. They got Dallas on Saturday. Then Colorado. They got Arizona. If they got Vegas, some of the top teams in the West. And they haven't played tremendous on the road, but their last road trip was pretty damn good. What do you expect on this road trip?
Well, like I said, they're going to go. Dallas is playing good. They got a great record, 30 and 13 or something like that, or whatever it is. And then they go to Colorado's going to be tough, especially after we beat them 5-0.
Yep.
It's a revenge game. They're going to be going full bore. Some guys might be coming back, like McCarr. They had a couple injuries, so that's going to be tough. Arizona is always tough in that rink. It's a small little rink in Arizona, and Las Vegas is always a great place to play. And you know what? Sometimes the guys might have a little bit too much to drink out there. That's why we don't play as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what it is about Arizona, but we'll see and Vegas, they lost their number 1 goalie last night, Logan Thompson. So I don't know if he probably won't be available, but we'll see how that goes. All right, my friend, go make some birdies, make some money. Have fun today. Beautiful day for golf.
You betcha, JP. We'll touch base next week after some of the games, see what we're doing.
Absolutely. Sounds good. The great Brian Bradley right there. This is going to be, I got my Bally's subscription, by the way. So I'm on my 7-day trial, so I'll be able to watch all the games.
I thought you told me that your trial wasn't going well, though.
It's not going well.
It's not going well because that app
What a crap app.
That company. You wonder why they're bankrupt.
Yeah. That's an interesting whole situation that's going on with this and how it's going to affect the teams. Because Bally's is, if they go bankrupt, then these huge payments to these teams don't happen. It's a big deal. That's a really big deal.
Yeah.
The leagues have to wonder what the hell's going on with that.
I wanted to shout out real quick because I know TJ's coming up, but in case I forget, shout out to Jeremy here, a loyal listener who said he's got his tickets for opening day for the Rays with $10 tickets.
They started this morning at 10 o'clock.
And he got his $10 tickets for opening day. How about that?
For opening day.
We're going to opening day for $10.
Jeremy, how many tickets were you able to buy? You can buy the $10 tickets for any game. Did you go through the whole schedule and get $10 tickets for all the big ones? I wonder if that's what I bet that's all the scalpers did. So they're probably all gone. But if they're only doing 1,000 per game, that kind of sucks. But I understand, you can't give the whole house away.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. Absolutely. All right, quick break. When we come back, TJ Rives, Buck sideline guy who covered Rondé Barber his entire career, will join us and regale us with his great stories as he always does. So quick break. We're brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. Hey, Valentine's Day coming up next week, guys. Don't screw this up. You got a chance to get your girl something really good. They've got the gift card match going on over there. So get in there, give them the gift cards or get them something nice, whatever it is. It's always a great way to gift at Valentine's Day because they know what the ladies want. And if you don't, which we never do, just let the staff do it. They're good at it. That's one of the reasons you go to the Gold and Diamond Source. They treat you like family. 3800 Alberton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Back with TJ Rives in 3 minutes. Stay with us. Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott Jeeves is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance companies hate to go up against. He could recover thousands of dollars, so why not call 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations.
Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-0605 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Oh, well. It all depends on your income and your family situation. It's a free call, 888-325-0605. They will ask for some income information. So if you have your tax returns available, that will be great, but you don't need it. Just answer some simple questions, and the highly trained reps will do the work for you to find out what your subsidy will be. 888-325-0605. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call, 888-325-0605. Get covered like me and thousands of others, 888-325-0605. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship returns this March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of golf action plus the host of fun activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. Sam Burns, who won in a thrilling playoff last year, is looking to make it 3 wins in a row on the Copperhead course at Innisbrook Resort. He will be challenged by a top field that includes Jordan Spieth, returning for the first time in 5 years. The 2015 Valspar champ counts 13 PGA Tour victories, including 3 majors in his career. It will be a great field and great fun. Tickets are on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds tickets and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss the 2023 Valspar Championship.
Let's go right now. Back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, we are awaiting the appearance of one TJ Rives. I know he's got some other obligations today that might be running long, but when he pops up, we will try to get him on. So we have an update on Derek Carr going to the Saints. This looks like a done deal.
Yeah.
Where did they tour another city for him? I think, what did they do?
I mean, he was there for 2 days with his wife and everything. So
he wow.
Well, apparently they took him to the good spots over there. I don't know where the good spots are. Never been there, but
it ain't downtown. I can tell you that. And there are some nice parts of New Orleans, but
yeah, according to Tom Pelissaro, NFL Network, they are the 2 teams already have the framework of a Derek Carr trade in place. But obviously, Derek Carr has a full no trade, so he controls where any trade happens before the 4 p.m. Eastern Time Tuesday deadline. But it seems like that he's been there for 2 days, and obviously he wants to go there.
Yeah, I guess so.
So Derek Carr looks like he's probably going to be a New Orleans Saint.
That's disappointing.
It is very disappointing.
That's disappointing. So where do the Buccaneers now turn their attention to? Scott Reynolds at the Pewter Report saying Jacoby Brissett and Baker Mayfield, a couple of Cleveland Browns cast-offs.
You don't sound excited.
Well, you go from the GOAT to a couple Cleveland Brown cast-offs. It's hard to get excited.
I'll set Baker Mayfield for a side because I am not on the Baker Mayfield train at all, unless you got like a Todd Monken and maybe you want to rekindle that relationship. That's the only way I could see that work a little bit.
It worked before.
But I don't know. I mean, Jacoby Brissett, and Scott's got it in here. He's not going to lose you a game. He's got 48 touchdowns and only 23 interceptions in his career. His interception rate is even lower than Garoppolo and Brady's, who don't throw picks.
So he's
not going to give the game away.
You're hoping for a Geno Smith.
Yeah.
Revitalization is what you're hoping for.
I think we would agree. Jacoby Brissett to me is, I mean, there's 32 guys got to start.
Yeah.
Is every single quarterback a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL that starts a game?
Should be.
Maybe. I don't know if that is. That's the truth. That's the reality, though. I think Jacoby Brissett is better than a lot of these starters in the league.
I got to go back and look at some more tape. I mean, watching him play against the Buccaneers, he just seemed meh. You know, it's just he's just average.
He does his job.
And if I have to reevaluate now. Does Jacoby Brissett give you a chance to win the division with Derek Carr now in it with the Saints?
I still think it does. Yeah.
Yes. But I think Derek Carr would have been a much better.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to debate you on that
situation. And I wonder why did the Bucs not go after him? What was their decision?
I mean, they could be like, again, they might be trying to outweigh like Scott did the whole pros and cons. They might be trying to weigh those things. And they're like, do we really want to bring him in? Is Derek Carr really the guy that we want to give $30 to $40 million to? It just maybe just Todd Bowles doesn't want Derek Carr. I mean, it's that simple. Because like you said, Derek Carr is not a top 10 quarterback. He's not coming in here and changing the franchise, right? Chances of him taking you to a Super Bowl, not there.
But Derek Carr
and
Jacoby Brissett are in 2 different worlds. Derek Carr's been starting in this league for 9 years. Yeah. He's thrown for over 4,000 yards 8 times.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett can't touch any of those numbers. Not even close. Not even close. And neither can Baker Mayfield. So this was a really, really good opportunity, and your chief rival beat you to him, and they have a worse cap situation than you.
But so again, the Bucs because, and you could blame this on the Bucs because they haven't gotten things moving, but they don't have anything to offer them right now.
Well, that's their own fault. That's their own
there's
fault.
no OC or quarterback coach for him to meet with here and get comfortable with.
Why
There's
not?
nothing there.
Why not?
I don't know.
It's a bottom line business, whatever your reasons are. And maybe it's because Todd Bowles is perceived as a lame duck. Well, you put yourself in that situation. You didn't have to keep Todd Bowles. You gave him an opportunity with a championship caliber team. I'm not saying a Super Bowl ready team, but he took a team that was really, really good, played well in their first game, and just never got better. I mean, I'm not going to go back over how this team played this year and what the reflection it was on the head coach.
Yeah.
We've talked about that a million times. So, I mean, these are all decisions that the Buccaneers higher brass are making. And it's, at this point, if your chief rival gets the quarterback that you were hoping to get, that's a failure, an organizational failure. There's no other way to look at it. I'm not trying to be mean to the Buccaneers, but your chief rival just got the best quarterback on the market and had a worse cap situation than you did. So,
it's not great.
What do you got to say for yourself?
Great.
There's nothing you can say for. So you're going to end up with a Jacoby Brissett, Baker Mayfield thing. I mean, we don't know what they're going to end up with yet. Well, maybe they've got something up their sleeve, but at this particular point.
Well, Scott already scared me in his article because he said this might haunt Bucs fans who remember the Byron Leftwich, Josh Freeman duo in 2009, that the Brissett Kyle Trask duo is almost the identical situation.
I'm not enthused at this point. All right, let's switch gears and bring in our good friend TJ Rives, Bucs sideline guy who covered every inch of Rondé Barber's career, as did I. Good morning to you, my friend, in your creamsicle orange. Look at you. We're in our powder blues today for what reason? I don't know. Because the Rays opened tickets today for $10, and we're celebrating that they finally got the clue that lower price tickets might bring in more people.
Yes. Hey, listen, good to be with you on all fronts, and I appreciate you having me on just to say how thrilled I am personally and professionally for Rondé Barber. You root for guys and families like the Barber family. This is tremendous. This is tremendous for our area. He has remained in our area, as I know you know, but the audience needs to hear this. He remains giving of his time, philanthropy, all the different stuff that he does in this area. So this is tremendous that he gets recognized. And the one thing I keep going over with everybody since the announcement last night is we got the privilege of watching, and Nick, I know you're young, but we got the privilege of watching a defense that has 4 Hall of Fame players now between Sapp, Brooks, Lynch, and Barber, and Tony Dungy as the coach makes 5.
Yeah.
Makes the quintet. So that's incredible to contemplate because we were around covering this, JP, in the late 90s, and we knew the defense was good, and we knew they had changed the culture, and now we know how good. 25 years later, we know Hall of Fame good. Rondé deserves to be there. Good for him.
Steel curtain level, right? I mean, that's that's mythological, mythic.
Yes,
that is it's epic. And I think we did know we were watching something special, but Rondé in particular, it was the career that grew on you, right? You kept watching him and you just kept going, okay, he's a nice piece. He makes some plays every now and then. Damn, he makes plays all the freaking time. Wow, there's another one. It just kept going and going and going. And when we had him on earlier today, he really talked about that development and the guys around him that forced him to be better, right? Iron sharpens iron. I think that was a big part for all of these guys now, 4 players and a coach in the Hall of Fame. Collectively, that was part of the dynamic.
It's funny that you mentioned that Bible verse. You're getting biblical here on a Friday because that was part of the devotional a couple of days ago that I do with the twins in the morning on Iron Sharpens Iron, and we had to explain that. And by the way, they used to have that up in the weight room at $1 as well with that mentality. And Barber's the first one to admit, this, and I got to go back and rewatch now and hear Rondé on with you. He's the first one to admit we as the defensive backs were only as good as Warren Sapp, Booger McFarland, Simeon Rice, and others, Greg Spires, whomever, clobbering the quarterback. If they don't get to the quarterback, there's only so much you can do back there. But it's remarkable. It's neat. It's remarkable. The accomplishments. He's the only player in the history of the NFL with 25 or more sacks and 40 or more interceptions. And I think it's 45 or more interceptions. Yeah. He's the only one at 25 and 45.
Yeah.
The only one. And by the way, continued to play at a very high level at a difficult position to run and still cover people, continue to play at a high level. Year 10, year 11, year 12, he's still out there running with wide receivers, and he was not afraid to take on even bigger targets, tight ends. I remember he would match up with Tony Gonzalez of the Falcons, and he basically came up to Tony Gonzalez's chest plate, and he's matching up with him and trying to cover him.
And Calvin Johnson, too.
Yes.
They'd send him out to cover Calvin Johnson on the outside, who was literally twice his size.
Yeah, it seemed like it. So, yes, great stuff. 14 non-offensive touchdowns is still the Buccaneer record. And when you look at the overall NFL record, sure, Devin Hester was on the finalist list. Devin Hester's got 21, I believe, all time non-offensive touchdowns with all the returns. But Rondé was not a kickoff or punt returner getting them. He was getting them on fumble returns, on blocked kicks, and of course pick sixes. And the ultimate one is the pick six in Philadelphia. You were there. I love that YouTube video of you. Everybody go back and check JP because you shared it out on that YouTube video of you talking to him right after that pick six. Here we are 20 years later still talking about that play. And I'm going to say this to you. Here's to talking about it for another 10, 25 or more years that we're all around. That is the iconic play in the franchise history. The one play you think about is that play. It's Rondé Barber's play. He's a Hall of Famer.
You know, it's interesting about that, TJ, is we had John Kincade on from Philly 97.5, who's a longtime Eagles fan, right before Rondé, and he gave the perspective of how that he's just like knife in the heart, man. Knife in the heart. That was our team. You know, Andy, that team was Super Bowl bound. We all knew it. There's no way they were going to lose that day. It was 20 degrees. The Bucs couldn't play. The blah, 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 blah. And they're like, and that guy's running down the field. The vet's like, shh.
Yep.
Oh, fantastic.
And by the way, Kincade, your stadium's closed forever because of Rondé Barber. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. And the first game in the new stadium the next year is the Monday night shutout by the Buccaneers. Now, the 2003 season didn't go the way anybody wanted, but for all time, the last game at the Vet and the first game the following year are both Buccaneer wins. Forever, Philly. Forever.
We own you. Do you have a personal anecdote, you, the great storyteller that you are, about Rondé?
I don't know. I'm full of crap. Thank you for complimenting me. I can't say enough. I mean, I'll tell you one. This happened at practice, I'm sure, a bunch. And Tony Dungy used to let us watch practice. And this happened. And I believe it happened again with Raheem Morris when we were watching practice, where Tony Dungy has to stop practice and yell at Rondé. Rondé, you can't run the route. We know you know something to this effect. We know you know the route, but we got to work on this route. You can't run the route with the receiver. And Raheem's the same thing. Raheem is saying you got, and he was tight with Raheem as the defensive backs coach and then later the head coach. But Raheem would even yell out in a practice, 2-0, stop it. Because we got to get the work in. We know that you know what's coming, and this is how you get all those interceptions and big plays. So if you need insight onto how much he studied, how up on it he was, phenomenal story for he and his brother. And I've gotten to know his brother so much better the last 3 years. I knew him some. It's amazing how much they are alike, identical. I've got identical twins, but it's amazing how they talk alike, they walk alike, they smile and laugh alike. I am proud of myself that I've not called Tiki Rondé one time while I've been around him. So I've done well. But again, I can't emphasize enough for this family, for this area. This is tremendous. This is a great thing. He'll be involved with the Valspar Championship Golf Tournament as he always is. They still give back of their time and in this community. Again, I could probably give you 5 more stories of helping underprivileged kids with different things that he's done. He and Donnie Abraham had a charity event that may or may not still be going on, but it went on for 15 years. It went on, helping not only underprivileged, but disabled kids, physically disabled, mentally disabled kids. They weren't doing that to be on the news or be on the internet. They were doing that because they love this area. They love helping families they could help. Good on Rondé Barber. And again, we celebrate him, and deservedly so. So many times, negative stories in sports, athletes that do dumb things, get arrested, awful behavior. This is to be lauded. This is to be applauded that he is in there. High character guy, joining guys like Derek Brooks, like John Lynch as high character guys. It's no secret that whole thing turned around in the late 90s and the early 2000s when you got some high character guys involved.
Exactly. And I was saying with Nick, that when you go think back on that team, all those guys were super smart. See, I mean, think about we talk about their abilities, their physical abilities. They were tough. They were nasty. They were all that, but they were freaking all those guys. You know them now, even afterwards, they're all very successful for the most part. They've done tremendous things. I mean, Shelton Quarles is on the short list to be a GM somewhere, one of the most respected administrators in the game now. Rondé could be a GM tomorrow. Lynch is already a GM and a successful one. I mean, you could just go down the list. These guys were super smart too.
Yes, and it's the total package for this area, and it changed the entire culture, and now you're getting recognition everywhere. I mean, I know this, and I know Ira is the one that made the presentation with the football writers, and it's fascinating now in the dynamic because those guys, the football writers, they knew 2 weeks ago in their virtual meeting, and they've kept it quiet, like the CIA. Yeah. And in the videos that we're seeing, and I've been sharing those out, the videos of the knock on the door and stuff, my understanding, they were done last week, late last week or last weekend. Because they were preparing all of this for TV and to roll it all out. So that means the guys that got in knew and production people knew, and you're trying to keep all of it quiet. So Ira made the presentation again for Rondé. And I know there was some blowback in the last couple of years on whether he should get across the finish line. And I know what Ira kept hammering is the level of play for the longevity of it, how he played in postseason game after postseason game. And Ira's thing with that voice, show me an area where he's not a Hall of Famer. JP, show me where he's not a Hall of Fame. He kept hammering that, and he finally got home again. Yeah. The late Tom McEwen got Leroy Selman in, one Hall of Famer. Ira Kaufman, we salute you. He's made the presentation and gotten 5. Tony Dungy, Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, and now Rondé Barber. But there had to be a little selling, just to share with your audience. There had to be a little more selling this time, and it obviously worked. He got across the threshold in a year that had Revis Island with him.
That's right.
He still got across the threshold and is a Hall of Famer.
CJ, can we get I hate to be greedy, but can we get a 6th? Can we get a 6th?
Who's your 6th? Who do you want in right now?
We talked about it earlier. Like, Simeon Rice gets virtually zero consideration. Like, he makes like the initial list of 130. I don't even know if he's ever gotten even close to the 28. I look at the numbers. You were there.
Right.
The impact was there. I feel like he's like forgotten so
And
much.
he was huge in those postseason games in 2002 to help you win a Super Bowl. He was huge in the Super Bowl. I guess I know the argument is, how does he stack up against a Lawrence Taylor all time? How does he stack up against a Bruce Smith? Start picking them.
Well, how's he stack up against DeMarcus Ware, who just won?
Correct. And so that's an interesting one.
Yeah,
because if DeMarcus, honestly, DeMarcus Ware's got some numbers, but he's got no postseason anything. So because the Cowboys never do anything in the postseason. So if DeMarcus Ware is playing on like the Tennessee Titans, if DeMarcus Ware is playing on the Arizona Cardinals, is DeMarcus Ware in the Hall of Fame, or is DeMarcus Ware there because Jerry Jones and the influence and the Cowboys? Does that help him get across the finish line? So
100%.
But interesting on Simeon Rice, and I don't have it in front of me, but Simeon's numbers have to stack up or be as good as DeMarcus Ware's. And he did things in that NFC title game against the Eagles and in the Super Bowl to help you win the Super Bowl.
He could have been the MVP easily in that game. I thought
he could have been.
I think, because a lot of people voted early, but
he was a pass rushing monster for the better part of a decade. Now, again, how do you equate that with a Bruce Smith from Buffalo? And again, Bruce didn't win it, but Bruce was in a lot of postseason games. How do you equate that with Lawrence Taylor, who did win championships and was an all-pro and revolutionized the game as a pass rusher? That's the argument in that room. So we'll see if Simeon Rice gets across the threshold. And a lot of present-day Buccaneer fans are kind of theorizing, can somebody get home out of Mike Evans, somebody out of Levante David? Because, again, now that you've won playoff games, now that they've performed well in playoff games, it takes a Super Bowl champion. It takes on a different level. Yep. But that's a discussion like 8-10 years from now, probably, on those guys. We'll see.
All right, TJ, great stuff, my man, as always.
Have a great weekend, boys.
Sideline Guy on Twitter. Give him a follow, and you'll get all his content right there. Thanks, pal. Appreciate it.
Great. Have a great weekend. Great to be with you. Congrats to Rondé, and love it. You boys be well.
Go Eagles in the Super Bowl. We shall see.
We got to give our pick. I guess we got to have our final picks now because it's can't go any further now.
Well, I've been on the Eagles all week long. I'm not changing. A great point made by many about Mahomes, and this Kansas City line is the number one pass block win rate in it. So it's strength on strength. You would think that Mahomes and Andy Reid and John Kincade brought up a great point. Andy Reid is considered maybe the best coach in the NFL right now, and certainly he's gotten better over the years. But it's he still got one Super Bowl, right?
One Super Bowl, yes.
Yeah. So, and he's been there, been knocking on the door for a long, long time. So, that's a factor. That's a factor. And, and I still think the injury to Mahomes can be a factor. He didn't get hit that much in the championship game. He's going to get hit in this game. He's going to get hit. So I'm going with the Eagles.
2 Super Bowls for Andy Reid. 2 Super Bowls after what happens on Sunday.
Okay.
Shame on you on Rondé's great day that you were going to pick anything Philadelphia associated. I hate that damn city. I hate those fans. I hate that team. I love Jalen Hurts, but I hate everything else about that team. Well, I'm not keeping it objective. I'm never rooting for Philadelphia, and I'm not betting against the most talented player in the history of the National Football League and Mr. Patrick Mahomes. I'm not doing it. As insufferable as Jackson and Brittany Mahomes are going to be on Monday morning, and I'm going to have to write a billion stories about it, and it's going to suck. I am all over the Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs train. Give me 38-21. This defense is not historic. Patrick Mahomes is ripping right through it.
Okay. Wow. That's impressive. We shall see who is right when we reconvene on Monday. Yeah, have a great weekend, everybody. The Bucs, maybe they'll have a quarterback and an offensive coordinator by Monday. Who knows? We'll be here to chronicle it for you. Don't forget to get your Valentine's shopping done at the Golden Diamond Source this weekend and all that. And the Bolts will play at 1 o'clock tomorrow on ABC, so you can watch that. Have a great day, everybody.